Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to our English class. I hope everybody is doing well and, of course, ready for another session with me here in learning new things about the English language. Now, last meeting, before we dive into another topic, last meeting, let's do a quick review on what we did in the previous sessions. So we started discussing or tackling on pronunciation. Particularly, we did an introduction to pronunciation. Of course, why is it important? What's in English language pronunciation? And aside from that, we also talked about the International Phonetic Alphabet or the IPA. Now, a review of that is when it comes to English, English is a complicated language. In what way? That focusing on the pronunciation alone, it would be very complex. It would be very difficult or challenging to really pronounce uh, most or if not all words, English words, no, that is included, of course, in the language, in the vocabulary of the English language. Say, for example, the very evidence to that is there are 26 English alphabet letters. But how many sounds do we have in English? There are 44 sounds in English. So that's a lot, no? Compared to 26 alphabet letters, meaning what does that figure or numbers show? This only means that this only means that um it is not one is to one, meaning one alphabet only produces one sound. It does not work like that in English. That would be very idealistic. That would be very nice if it is one is to one, because of course we only produce one sound for a particular letter, meaning that the pronunciation of the word would be much easier. But that is not the case in the English language. There are 26 letters but 44 sounds. So it is not one is to one. Remember that there are only five vowels in the English language, but there are 19 sounds in total that a vowel or the vowels can produce, meaning it's almost like five times or four times the amount of the vowel. So that's how complicated the English language is, because we cannot predict the pronunciation of a word just by looking at the spelling alone. Because aside from the fact that there are multiple sounds of a letter, there are also multiple there are also, how do you call it, multiple rules that should be applied when it comes to reading or pronouncing a word. Say, for example, the silent letter. Now, it is common in English to have a silent letter. What do we mean by silent letter? From the name itself, you do not pronounce it at all, meaning that particular letter is in the spelling but not in the pronunciation or speaking. For example, let's have the word face. Okay? Again, the word is face. How do we spell face? FACE, four letters. So the word is face. But the thing is, when we pronounce the word face, which has four letters, is there a silent letter? Yes. Where? What part? What letter is silenced? Letter E. Because we did not pronounce the word as facey or facy, but we pronounce it as face. So meaning the letter E there, no, at the end part of the word is silenced. It is not spoken at all. So that's another thing that would contribute to how difficult it is to learn the pronunciation of the different words or vocabularies in English language. So, um, what does what does this review is telling you? Well, the thing is, before you try to really delve immediately with a lot of angle or area on pronunciation, because of course pronunciation topic is very in depth. So it is a long discussion, multiple discussions, because again, it is not easy. So before we delve immediately with the complicated parts, we have to understand why do we need to learn really in detail, comprehensively, the pronunciation of English. Because again, it is difficult. I cannot deny that. When I learned English, it is challenging. Because again, what you see in the spelling of the word is not always how you pronounce it. Though there are some words that when you try, that there are some words that you can pronounce it just the same way as how it is spelled out. For example, boy, no? Boy, girl, day, those words and a lot more. But most, no, like more than half of the words, English words, are not like that, no? Usually, the pronunciation of a word does not follow the spelling of the word. Now, why is it like this? Why is the words in English? Why are the words in English like this? Why can't we just make it easy? Well, as I've mentioned already in the past few sessions, that the English language has gone through a lot of changes. English language alone, no, has gone a lot of changes, just the same way as other languages. But here in English, it the English language is inspired by many different languages. So it's more of like a combination of different languages, more on borrowed words. There are a lot of borrowed words there. Now the thing is, in the past, some of the words can be pronounced as how they spelled. But later on, as years passed by, as time progresses, the pronunciation of a word also changes. But the spelling of it retains or remains the same. So that is why that is why there are silent letters, there are letters that are added, there are letters that we can question why is it there if it does not serve any purpose at all, because in the past it did serve a purpose, but now in the present, um since the pronunciation of the words is already changed, then of course it became more of like a decoration, no? The letter alone, it became more of a decoration because we cannot speak it. It's just in the spelling, not in the speaking, no? So that's a problem, recurring problem in English language. And so those are the different, areas. No, we tackled about the problem. Why is learning the English word pronunciation really difficult or challenging? So I made you realize that. Now, of course, it does not only stop with the problem. No, there should be a solution. And that is where the IPA, or the International Phonetic Alphabet, would go in. So, again, remember, we've already discussed IPA a few times already, no? More than one session, we discussed the IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. Now, what is, again, International Phonetic Alphabet? If you want to share your answer, you can always use our live chat. Okay? Don't hesitate. As long as it is related to our discussion, of course, I would recognize it. I am constantly checking or consistently checking the live chat for any kind of responses. Then again, IPA, or the International Phonetic Alphabet, is our solution to the problem of not equal number of alphabet letters as well as sounds. Or it's our the problem of how complicated English pronunciation is. So our solution is the IPA. Now, what's in the IPA, or the International Phonetic Alphabet? There are 44 symbols that represents only one sound, meaning one symbol, one sound, 1:1. So if it is 1:1, then of course there is little to no possibility of mistakes, of mistakenly reading the word. No, so if we try to write or to transcribe the word day, there is a particular symbol for that one, so that you can really pronounce the word in a way that it should be pronounced. So day, no, so it's not letters but symbols. So what's in the phonemic or the IPA chart are all symbols, or all 44 symbols for representing the each of the 44 English sounds. So that's a solution, because again, um it is 1:1. It represents on each symbol represents only one sound. So that's the solution, which is of course a very good thing. So if we go back to maybe for instance, let's have the silent letter. So does that mean the silent letter? How do we deal with that silent letter when it comes to IPA chart? Well, we do not write it at all. We just write the words. I mean the symbols that represents the sound of a word. So if it is a silent letter, there is no symbol for that, no? Because it is a silent letter. So that is our solution, no? The IPA. Now, review on the IPA. There, it is divided into vowels and consonants. Now, vowels has 19 sounds. Consonant has 20 plus sounds. So there are in total 44 sounds or symbols that you can see in the IPA chart. Now, in the IPA chart, there's also headlines there which talked about voiced and voiceless or unvoiced. Again, how do we recognize if a word is voiced? We touch our throat, and if you feel any vibration, if you pronounce the sound of a letter, then that is voiced. If no vibrations at all, that is voiceless or unvoiced. Let's try letter P and letter B, no? Sound of those two. Let's start with the first one. No vibration at all, meaning the sound is voiceless or unvoiced. How about B? B, B. There are vibrations, so it is voiced. Okay? So that is what's inside the IPA chart. No? Aside from that, in the vowel section, it is divided into monophthongs, which represents single unit sound, and diphthongs, which represents a gliding vowel sound. Okay? So those are just the different things that you need to know about the IPA chart. If you really wanted to delve deeper on this one, we have multiple sessions talking about the IPA and even a practice test. So you can go back to our previous streams and look back on the discussion about this one. Okay? All right. Whew, no? That's a kind of long review, but it's necessary so that our thinking is really aligned. Now, since we've already done the introductions and all, and even introduced the IPA chart, we are going to start with our different lessons on pronunciation. Well, that is more of like lesson zero, not the previous subtopic, lesson zero. We are going to start here with lesson one, mastering common English sounds. So that is our discussion for this evening. Again, mastering common English sounds. Okay, now before we start, let's take a deep breath first so as to calm ourselves and, of course, prepare for another session, another discussion. On my cue, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay. All right. Hello once again, everyone. Welcome back to our pronunciation class. This session, I am so happy to have you all here. Now, our goal is to master some of the most common sounds in English language. Okay? So, we're going to focus on building a strong foundation so that you can feel more confident and, of course, relaxed whenever you speak. So, when we talk about pronunciation, again, it is easy to feel a bit overwhelmed. especially English pronunciation. Sometimes English can feel like a puzzle. You see a word spelled one way, but it sounds completely different. But don't worry, today we're going to break that puzzle down into small, easy pieces. We are going to look at the sounds that give many learners trouble. We will practice minimal pairs, which are those tricky words that sound almost the same. And we will also look at how to use rhythm and melody, which we call stress and intonation, to make your English sound natural and clear. So, those subtopics will be discussed in our next session so that we can really have it slowly but surely. Because, of course, if I try to at once, it would I would bombard you with all those details and information, then that would be overwhelming to you. And I would not like that because it would be hard for you to learn something new if your mind is already overwhelmed with new information. So let's just take it one step at a time, considering that we only have 1 hour session. Okay. Now, we're going to look, of course, at different no troubles that that the students may encounter, or that you may encounter later on. So, whether your goal is to speak more clearly for your job, or you just want to feel more comfortable when you are talking with your friends, today's lesson is designed to help you. So, we're going to use practical, easy to use techniques that you can start using right away. So, my goal is for you to leave this session feeling like you have more control over your voice. Okay. Now, before we dive into our discussion, I want to hear from you. We all have those specific words or sounds that feel like a knot in our mouths, right? Maybe it's the difference between ship and sheep, or perhaps it's the r sound, or maybe it's just a word you use every day that you feel you can never get quite right. So please take a moment right now to think about those sounds or words. What makes you unsure when you are speaking? No, is there a word you try to avoid saying because you are worried about the pronunciation? There is absolutely no judgment here. We are all learning together. Okay? No judgment at all. Again, you can always use our live chat for any kind of responses that you might want to share to the class, not to everybody. Any kind of responses, actually. May it be a question for clarification, or you just want to add an input or an information for everybody to know, or you just want to share your experience. Any kind of responses, I will acknowledge that as long as it is related to our discussion. Okay? All right. So maybe can you share any kind of discomforts that you've had when it comes to pronunciation? Do we have any? Okay. So maybe you're shy. Um Anyway, I would love for you to type those hard words or sounds into the chat box if you can. Just the words or the sounds that you might find difficult. No, because if you can, then we are going to work through them together one by one. No, we will slow them down, look at where our tongue and lips need to go, and practice them until they feel comfortable to you. Sometimes all it takes is a tiny adjustment in how you move your mouth to make a big difference in how you sound. Okay? Now, you might be wondering why focus so much on individual sounds? Because, again, as we recognized or realized upon listening to my discussion on IPA chart or International Phonetic Alphabet, you can think of it like building a house. If you want a strong, beautiful house, you need to make sure the bricks at the bottom are strong. In English, Those bricks are the individual sounds. So when you are sure about the sounds, you don't have to work as hard to be understood. You can spend more time or your energy on the meaning of what you are saying rather than worrying about how to say it. So when we practice sounds together, we are helping our brain and our mouth become a team. It's like learning a sport or playing an instrument. At first, you have to think about every single movement, but the more we practice, the more it becomes automatic to you. Soon, you won't even have to think about the sounds. Your mouth will just do them naturally because you have trained it so well. Right? It's part of you, it's natural to you. Okay? So I guess maybe later on you would want to share. Okay? Anyway, now, again, our topic is still mastering common English sounds. For a moment. Okay, let me just put this here. Okay, let's move on. Now, let's start with the first. No, we're going to start with the first tricky sounds in English. So we are going to master again common English sounds. Of course, especially the tricky sounds. We're going to focus here on the tricky sounds because the individual sounds in English are already talked about in the IPA chart discussion. So if you want to know more about that, no, a very detailed discussions on different sounds in the IPA chart are already included there. You know, two or three previous sessions. You can watch that. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's focus on this one. Now that you have shared some of your challenges, hopefully you are going to share it later on. We're going to start with this one. We're going to start with the three of the most common troublemaker groups in English. So if you can get these right, your speech will immediately sound much clearer and more professional to you. So we're going to start with this one. One, spelling, but two sounds are produced. So this is the TH sound. We have here the IPA symbol. So these are the different symbols for the two sounds that can be produced by using the TH combination. So this one is the voiceless sound. Okay, tara. So this one is the voiceless, and then this one, this symbol is the voiced. So these are famous for being difficult because they don't exist in many other languages. So the secret here is your tongue. You have to let the tip of your tongue peek out between your top and bottom teeth. So the unvoiced or voiceless is this sound is like a soft breath. Don't use your voice, just let the air flow through the gap between your tongue and your teeth. So try saying thin or think. Imagine you're making a tiny hiss sound with your tongue in the right spot. So you're going to perform it like this. So your tongue and it should be in between your teeth, upper teeth, and your lower teeth, of course. So it should be you bit it just a little bit and then you blow air. Okay, there should be a puff of air. Let's try. Okay, something like that. Now again, this one, the first symbol is voiceless. So the sound that I did earlier, that is the voiceless TH sound. Now again, another way to recognize or to identify if a sound is voiced or voiceless, you're going to touch your throat and feel if there is any vibration. No vibrations at all, meaning this is correct. It is voiceless. Okay? Now, voiceless meaning there is no vibration in your vocal cords when you make the sound. Again, examples are think, thumb, and think. Okay? So let's Please try this with me. Even if you're muted, I want you to move your mouth. Okay? Here again, the TH sound. Let's find the position. Everyone place your tongue gently between your front teeth. Don't bite down, just let it rest there. Okay? So here again in the voiceless, you're imagining you're blowing out a candle, but you're doing it through the tiny gap between your tongue and teeth. Okay? So when you try to blow a candle, usually, of course, it's just forming a letter O, something like that. But your teeth should be in between. I mean, your tongue should be in between your teeth. So it should be like this. You're biting your tongue, and then you blow the air. Think, think. Okay? Notice that no noise comes from your throat. It's just air. It should feel like a soft whisper. Okay? Now let's try the voiced one. This one. No? This other symbol. We're going to try this one. Keep your tongue in that exact same position. So this one, same exact position. Now I want you to turn your voice on. Put your hand on your throat. When you say the sound, you should feel a distinct vibration like a tiny bee buzzing inside your neck. Okay, ready? Th- th- Okay, there is a vibration. This, that, those, there. Okay? So if you don't feel any buzz in your throat, you're doing the first one instead. Keep the tongue steady and push that voice forward, okay? Okay. All right. So that is our first for a moment. Yeah. So that is our first pair. Then again, I hope this is clear. If not, of course, I want you to really focus on the feeling here. Pronunciation is not just about what you hear, it is about what you feel. So when you make the voiceless TH sound, your throat should feel completely relaxed and quiet. When you make the voice TH, your throat should feel active and busy. So if you ever get confused, just put your fingers on your Adam's apple, just or on your throat, no, here in your neck. So if you feel a buzz, you're making a voice sound. If you feel nothing, you're making a voiceless sound. It's a simple trick, but it works every single time. Okay? All right. Now we move on to practice drill. So you're already doing fantastic work, everyone. Now, I want us to take this drill to the next level. Sometimes it is easy to say these sounds when we are focused on just one word, but in real conversation, we have to switch between these sounds very quickly. This is where the muscle memory kicks in. We're going to do three expanded rounds. In this longer practice, we aren't just looking at the sound, we're looking at how our mouth moves between the air sound and the buzz sound. So stay focused on your tongue. It should be a smooth, rhythmic movement. Okay? Round one, the slow motion precision sound. So for this round, we're going to use the exaggeration technique. I hope my. Okay, it's clear. Let me just. Okay. So we are going to use the exaggeration technique here. I want you to make the TH movement much bigger than you would do in normal conversation. So this forces your brain to acknowledge exactly where your tongue is. For example, think this. Next, think that. Thought though. Think these. Thanks, those. So feel how your tongue stays in the same gate position. The only thing that changes is the vibration of your throat. So if you feel your tongue pulling back into your mouth, stop for a second, let your tongue rest, and start the pair again. Precision is our number one goal right here, okay? All right. Now we're going to connect them, round two. We want to stop thinking, okay, about them as two separate things and start seeing them as a pair. So we want to flow from the hiss into the buzz without any gaps. Try to say these pairs as if they're one long continuous word. You have think this, think that, thought though, thing this, thinks those. Okay? So For this one, the first one, imagine a gentle wave. The sound starts with air and ends with a hum. Now, this one, you keep the momentum going for a thing and that. Then, of course, we focus on transition. Here, we don't let our tongue jump back. And then here we watch these, no, thing these are this, and then think those. Keep the buzz strong on those, okay? Pay close attention to your throat, everybody. You should feel the vibration start immediately when you move to the second word. So if you find yourself hesitating, it just means your brain is working hard to learn the new code. That is exactly what we want, okay? And then round three, the randomized reflex challenge. Let's scramble the order. This forces your brain to stay alert. You have to decide air or buzz instantly. I'll call them out and I want you to say them out loud and even if you're at home, okay? Those, those. Again, those. Okay. Is it air or buzz? You should feel the hum. Another. Think. Air only. Okay, let it hiss. Next, though. Okay, buzz, feel the vibration in your tongue. It's kind of itchy, but anyway, thanks, air. Keep it soft. Next, that buzz, that the hum lead into the vowel. Next, thought, air keeps your throat totally quiet. So why are we spending so much time on these tiny words? Because the words this, that, these, those, think, thought, and think are some of the most common words in the English language. It is more of like a sight word, a functional word. When you get these right, you aren't just pronouncing words, you're changing the texture of your English. Native speakers listen for difference between thin and these to understand what you're talking about. By mastering this air versus buzz transition, you're making your speech much easier to follow. So if you get tired, it's normal. You're training muscles that have been used to doing things a different way of your life. So if your tongue feels a bit sore or the heavy, give it a little wiggle. Take a sip of water and come right back. Okay, you're doing the hard work to build a new skill. Okay, I hope you get that. Let's move on. Again, this is the th paired and th sounds. Next, we move on to, okay, all right. So here, we're going to move on to a pair that trips up many letters, the R and L. These two sounds are like cousins. They share some similarities, but they require very different movements of your tongue. So if you master the position of your tongue for these, you will see a huge jump in your clarity. Okay? The physical action, take the very tip here. Since we're talking about the E sound light. Sound light. Sound light. Sound car, far. So E sound light. Anyway, let's start with E. This sound is all about contact. Okay, so the physical action could be take the very tip of your tongue and touch it to the bumpy ridge behind your top front teeth. This is called the alveolar ridge. Next, the airflow. Press the tip of your tongue against the spot firmly. Now let your talk, your voice for and the air escape out of the side stick your or sides of your tongue. It should be feel like a smooth, clear sound. Okay. Next, you have light. Feel how your tongue stays anchored to the roof of your mouth just a split second before you move the vowel. Okay, you need to speak it. Anyway, that is the and l. Okay, so this one, na I guess it's almost the same. So the R sound is all about tying. or floating. So this is where many of you might feel confused if you're having a native language such as this one, because again it's removable. Okay, not permanent. But anyway, let's compare that to the real l. Okay. All right. So that is the and l. So in here, is the tongue should curl slightly backward in your mouth. Right, road, red without touching the roof. Next, we have this one. The tongue should touch the roof of the mouth just behind your teeth. Light, love, red. Okay, so that's the thing. Those are the different things. So, if we try to compare the two, since this is a pair, the R is about floating. So this is for many of you might feel confused if your native language uses the correct tap R in English. We don't love. Okay. So of course, instead of touching the roof of your mouth, you put the tip of your tongue backward, like toward the middle of your mouth. Curl it up just like a bit. This is the most important one. Do not let this happen again. Okay. Okay. So the physical actions is instead of touching the roof, pull the tip of your tongue backward before back toward the middle of your mouth. So curl it up just like a little bit. Instead, the most important part, don't let it touch the roof of your side. Okay. So the airflow, the R sound is a resonant. Okay. So the R sound is a resonant sound. It's produced by the shape of your tongue in the empty spaces of your mouth. Your lips might even be round a little bit, like your family too. So of course we're gonna do that. Okay. Okay. So that is the R and L sound. Okay. Okay. So again, this is the R sound. The tongue should curl between your teeth without touching the roofs. Right, road, red. Those are some examples. How to pronounce the R tongue should curl slightly backward in your mouth without touching the roof. Its examples are my left. Okay. How did your throat? No, we're doing teamwork. Fantastic work. Everyone is normal. I want you to take the trail to the next level. But anyway, sometimes it's easy to say these sounds that we are forced focused on than that. Okay. So here in the R and L sounds, you press the tip of your tongue against the spot firmly. Now let your voice on and rest. Let the air escape out of the sides of of your tongue. It should be like a smooth organ sound. The first test, feel how do your tongue stays anchored to the roof of your mouth for a split second before you move to the vowel. Now let's compare that the R is all about floating. This is where many of you right feel confused. If you have native languages uses a trapped in English, it wouldn't add up. Okay. So the physical action, instead of touching the roof of your mouth, pull the tip of your tongue backward and then toward the middle of your mouth, curl it up just a little bit. But this is the most important part. Do not let it touch the roof of your mouth. The physical action, instead of touching the record of youth, pull the tip of tongue backward toward. Mm, okay. So that is on R and L sound. So that's more of like a rebranding. Okay. So if you try to reply, of course, you can just say, if you feel your tongue to the roof of your mouth. So just the barangay hall or unit. But of course, it would be better if you could immediately go to another. So in here and and L, you can think of it like a dance. For L, your tongue is grounded. It needs to touch the floor at the end of your mouth to create the sound. For E, shows tongue in your thigh. It needs to pay man. Okay, we'll send you exactly. Okay. So do we have any questions? Okay, let's have this one. Cat language. But anyway, again, let's try to practice these words. We have right, light, red, lead, road, load, no, rope, lope. So new iced. Okay. So those are different orders. Okay. All right. So let's move on to this one. Where am I? Anyway, let's go to this one. Practice. Okay, so far, what was our discussion about? The sound, TH sound, voiced and voiceless. We also have um and L sounds. Okay. Anyway, here in the and L sound, of course, it's going to not be really easy because again, this is I just compile those words that might be difficult. So let's compare this to. We're going to compare the L to R. So the first R is all about floating. This is where many of you might feel a little confused if your native language uses a tapped. In English, we don't tap. The physical action, instead of touching the roof of your mouth, pull the tip of your tongue backward and toward the middle of your mouth, curl it up just a bit. And this is the most important part. Do not let it touch the roof of your mouth. Okay. And then the airflow, the R sound is a resonant sound, so it is produced by the shape of your tongue in the empty space of your mouth. Your lips might even round a little bit, like you're saying too. Okay, for a moment. Okay, so the airflow here, the R sound is a resonant sound, so it is produced with the shape of your tongue in the empty space of your mouth. So your lips might even round a little bit, like you're saying ooh. And then this test say right or right, right. It would be better if you just say right. So we're following English language. So if you feel your tongue hitting the roof of your mouth, you're likely making or top sound. Pull it back and let it hover in the air. Okay. So you can think of it like a dance. The L is your tongue is grounded. It needs to touch the floor, the roof of your mouth to create the sound. For R, your tongue is in flight. It needs to stay in the air to create that rich, smooth resonance if you touch the roof of your mouth while I'm trying to sit. Right. Well, sounds exactly like HR. Okay. So there is actually a trick for this one. For this pair, mirror and finger trick. If you're struggling, use your phone's camera or a minor. I mean, a mirror. Watch your mouth, okay? When you say L, you should see your tongue tip clearly, tongue touching behind your teeth. When you say R, your tongue should be hidden away, curl back, and you might see your lips round slightly. If you still find it hard, try to hold this jaw sticky with your hands. Sometimes we move whole jaw to make these sounds. No, it's hard work for your muscles, but this is how we build the same strength to make sense sound effortless. Okay, so that is the and L sound. Yeah. Oh no. Let me check if the live is still ongoing. Think. Okay, it's all good. Anyway, we're going to continue with this one. Let me just. Okay. Okay, so far, what are the different things that we've already tackled on? We talk about this one for a moment. We talk about this one. Now, in here, where is it? Okay, so our first discussion is on talking about the most common, mastering common English sounds, especially we're trying to iron on the things, the most common sounds that we find difficult. Here we included two of the hardest or like most common mistakes in pronouncing or enunciating the sound. So first is this one, the th sound, which has two sounds, the voiceless th and the voiced th. And then next one we have the and l sounds. Okay, so this is a practice drill. We're just going to say this one. We have right, light, red, lead, road, load, rope, lope, rice, lice. Okay, so that is for the first and second part. Okay, now we move on to the last part of our discussion this session. Okay, so we have here the short versus long vowel sounds. Now remember, in the IPA chart, if we put colon on a symbol, what does this mean? Are we showing it's only in the vowel sound? Are we showing a short vowel sound or a long vowel sound? What do you think? Do you remember? It is a long vowel sound. No? If there is a colon beside the symbol. So there are many other vowel sounds to distinguish between. Let's explore some more examples of both short and long vowels. Okay? So in English, vowels can be short, which are quick and relaxed. So that's a short vowel sound. It can also be long, where we stretch the sound out just a bit more. So these tiny changes makes a big difference when you are speaking. Okay, let's start with the short ones. These are quick sounds, so your mouth doesn't move a lot and you don't hold the sound for long. Okay, short. So these are the different examples. First is E. E. Now this one, no, these enclosed with flush forward slashes. These are the IPA symbols. Okay, we have the first E, as in sit, bit, ship. So this one is light and quick. Your mouth is a bit relaxed, like you're smiling slightly. So next is Eh. Your jaw opens just a little more here, so say bed, pen, head. The next here, this one has your mouth more open. It's wider sound. Cat, bad, apple. Next is this is a very neutral, relaxed sound, just a little open. Cup, love, bus. Next is this one. You'll hear more of this in British English. Your mouth is rounder and more open. Dog, pot, hot. The next is this one is soft and short, so almost like pushing air gently. Both um, book, look, good. Okay, so that is on short vowel sounds. Again, E, E as in sit, bit, ship. E as in bed, pen, head. A as in cat, bad, apple. As in cup, love, bus. O as in dog, pot, hot. And then last one, ooh, like in book, look. I know, not ooh, but ooh, like in book, look, and good. Okay, those are the different short vowel sounds. Any questions so far? So far our discussions is on most common mistakes, which includes the TH sounds, and then the second one is R and L sounds, and then the third one is short versus long vowel sounds. Okay, I guess that. So we're going to continue with the long vowels. Now for the long ones, you'll hold these sounds a little longer and your mouth moves more to shape the sound clearly. So we have here some examples. Now most of the examples are there are colon beside it, okay? Because it's the pattern. Now this one is E as in seat, beach, sheep. Next, A like in cake, made, rain. So for the first one, no, this one, E, it is a smiling sound, but stretched out. Okay? For this one, A, this is no this what is this showing? This is a diphthong, no? Gliding vowel sound. So this sound glides just like it starts as one sound moves into another. We have cake, made, and rain. And the next is like in car, start, park. So this is a deep open sound. You can think of your mouth opening wide. Again, cake made. I know. Car, start, park. Okay. Next, we have a poet. Okay. Poet. So here we have cake made rain. It is a diphthong. Now there's a gliding sound. So this is a deep open sound. Think of your mouth opening wide. Car plus start, park. Ooh. Next is ooh, as in food, moon, blue. So that is it. Like in the cake made rain, this sound glides like it starts as one sound and moves into another. Cake made rain. It is a smiling sound but stretched out seat beat deep. So this like in car star part. This is a deep open sound. Think if your mouth opening wide or fricatious. Okay. All right. So let's practice some drill. I'll say them slowly and you can repeat after me. C, okay, so that is on this one. Practice drill. So practice some short and long words together. Okay. So we're out of the here. Let me just check. So again, this is a practice drill. Let's just pronounce these different paired words. First, we have the pate, sit, co. Next, beast. The next we have, so it's a 3 minute drill. So we are just going to read this one. Sit, seer, bit, beat, car, cake, car, pot, boat, pot, boat, look, mom, cup, noodles. Okay, so those are the different words that you can practice. Let's try to take it seriously. Still, seat, still, I mean, sit, seat. But I'm both teacher. Okay, so we have here sit, seat. We have bit, beat, cat, cake or car, pot, boat, look, mom, cup, food. Okay, those are the different things. Okay, so that is again the practice drill. Are sit, seat, beat, beat, cat, cake, pot, boat, look, moon, cup, food. Okay, nice and clear. Don't rush. Listen to the length of the vowel and how your mouth sounds. Okay. All right. Okay. So again, that is our practice drill. And that would be the last for mastering common English sounds. So what did we do? What did we tackle? We tackled about common English sounds. Aside from that, there's also some subjects that was handled by me. And then next to that is they offered me so I'm just practicing the different words, okay? Because it would be much easier to practice if they are done in a talking way. So it would be nice if there is something like that, okay? Anyway, let's do a review. So what did we do this evening? We started with lesson 1, mastering common English sounds with th sounds. Don't provoke, okay? So we have voices th sound and voice th sound, okay? And this is the R and L sound. So this is the mouth. Okay. So the tongue should curl slightly before backward in your mouth without touching the roof, examples road and others. So all the tongue should focus on, okay. So you're just gonna show that you can do it. Eventually you're able to really do it. Okay. Anyway, here the tongue should touch the roof. Okay. So those are the different words. Okay. So we started with this one. Mastering common English sounds. You have TH sounds, multiple sounds focusing on one student. And then we also have Jollibee. I mean McDonald's. Okay. A fast food restaurant. Okay. Just to calm him down. But anyway, guess that is all for today. I hope you all had a great evening. Multiple sound one student. Then we also have. Okay. So since it's the end, that is all. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. And good evening.
Let me end the stream. Goodbye, all.